Personally, I've never been to a deli or a restaurant where the server leans in and quietly whispers, "You have to try the pasta salad. It's amazing." And why wouldn't pasta salad be amazing? It has two incredible ingredients: pasta, which I love, and vegetables, which I also love, but together they always seem to fall short. So today, we're gonna make an incredible pasta salad using great ingredients, vibrancy, and wonderful texture in the very end that you are gonna love. So let's get started. Now you can't make pasta salad without pasta. And the way to do it properly is to get a pretty large pot, and I've measured out 16 cups of water. And I'll tell you why. To that, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. Now it may seem like a lot, but it doesn't absorb all that salt. What the salt does with this exact ratio, it allows the seasoning to penetrate into the pasta so every bite isn't flat. If you don't season the water, you don't season the pasta. Once I bring this to a boil, I'm gonna throw in the pasta and cook it till it's al dente or almost done. Not quite done, because when we add that vinaigrette, it's gonna soak up all that delicious flavor. Now let's talk about the pasta. What pasta do you use? Well, I like a funkier pasta. The stranger the shape and the more twisty and curls, the more opportunity that pasta has to suck up all the flavors we're going to introduce with the vinaigrette and the rest of the ingredients. To be honest, I threw away the bag. I don't even recall what the name of this is, but let's call it Funky Funk. Twirly Whirly. This is gonna be a great pasta for the pasta salad. And let's go ahead and get that whole thing started. Pop it on the flame. The pasta is good to go. So let's work on that vinaigrette, shall we? I'm gonna do a small dice on this shallot. And you might be surprised by how much vinaigrette we actually make, but listen, it's a pound of pasta, and there's a lot of vegetables yet to unveil themselves to you to show you how this is done. All right, shallot, good to go. Now the next thing is garlic. Now, the thing about garlic is I could finely chop it, but what I want to do is I want to put it on a microplane. I want to get almost a garlic paste. Well, why? Well, the cool thing about garlic paste is it helps emulsify dressings, and that's what I want. I want all these ingredients to get all smushed together beautifully so that every piece of properly cooked pasta will be properly seasoned with delicious garlic. Now, I remember when I was trying out this recipe, I started with 3 cloves of garlic because I love garlic. It ended up being too much because it's super duper fine. So 1 large clove of garlic works beautifully with that. I like a little bit of heat, sort of tease out some flavor. So red chili flakes works beautifully with that. Fresh oregano. This is about 2 teaspoons of fresh oregano from my garden. Now don't use dried, okay? Dried works with sauces that are cooked for very long periods of time and are rehydrated, so we're gonna use really fresh. Salt, why not? Salt, everybody needs it to bring those flavors together. Freshly ground black pepper. For those of you that know me, you know I love coffee. And imagine having a cup of coffee with old gnarly coffee beans. Same with ground spices, so fresh, okay? Now let's talk about acid. We need something to brighten up all these other flavors. A good red wine vinegar, probably 2 tablespoons of that. And what this acid does is it brings a vibrancy, all the flavors together, but it also helps break down some of the rough and tumble qualities that the shallot and the garlic, which are raw, have in common. It's called macerating, about 6 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. No, I didn't freshly squeeze this, but it's not that little lemon thing you keep in the fridge that your great-grandmother gave you as hand-me-down. This is freshly squeezed, so make sure you use that as well. A good extra virgin olive oil. Okay, I'm gonna add this. How much, Nathan? 3/4 of a cup. But whoa, it sounds like a lot, but that's only 12 tablespoons, and this makes, guess how much? About 10 to 12 servings. Now, as you can see, the oil is actually raised up to the top.
the garlic and shallot are toward the bottom with that vinegar and that lemon juice. I'm not gonna whisk this just yet, because I want the shallot and the garlic to macerate, but I will whisk it just before adding the pasta, which I need to check on right now. So hold on for just a second. Once the pasta is done, I'll drain it and we'll mix this all together, okay? Yum! I could eat a whole bowl, right? But let's make it even better. So it's properly cooked, it's drained. Do not rinse the pasta. It has all that starch. It's not quite cooked all the way through. It's just dying to suck up all of this flavor of the vinaigrette. Now is a good time to whisk it all together. If you find that when you're whisking, and it's going all over the table, just put a little something underneath there, just so it doesn't go too far away. And when you're whisking, just a simple side-to-side motion is what works best for whisking ingredients together. You don't have to go around, that doesn't do very much. Just a quick side to side. All right, there goes the pasta. Oh. Whirly, twirly gumdrops, yeah. This is like a flavorful hot tub for pasta. They're all going, ah, oh, yeah. They're just like sinking in with all that yummy flavor. That is a beautiful thing. Now I can set this aside, let it soak up all the rest of that flavor, and then we'll go ahead and get the rest of the ingredients together, okay? Here we go. The pasta behind me is cooling down, but soaking up those delicious flavors at the same time. Now it's time to get on to the salad part of the pasta salad. And for me, I do love cheese. And when I say cheese, I mean, what? The king of cheese, Parmigiano Reggiano. I like to make sure that I buy it in these blocks or wedges. And the reason for that is because when you get it already pre-grated, it's kind of on the powdery side, and even if it's not on the powdery side, it's definitely on the drier side. So I want it to be like every bite you get this like sweet, buttery, lovely, slightly salty, nutty sensation. And I find that when you use freshly grated or freshly ground Parmigiano Reggiano, that really foots the bill. Okay. Yes, yes. Probably about 2 cups of freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano, the king of cheese. All right. 1 cheese, it's good. 2 cheeses, what? It's better. Feta offers this salad like this creaminess, this bite of brininess that's sort of like, ooh, surprise, I'm here, quality to it. I'm gonna put it to the side, and you don't want this one pre-crumbled either. And the reason for that is that I'm gonna mix these ingredients together, and then I'm gonna season it and taste it to make sure it's seasoned, then mix it together again. If it's already pre-crumbled teeny tiny pieces, you end up with like feta dust, and nobody wants feta dust. 2 different types of cheeses ready to go. What else do we have? Well, I talked about butteriness with the Parmigiano Reggiano. Toasted, I just toasted them, pine nuts. Nothing is more Italian than toasted pine nuts. I also love flavor, but also color. And these wonderful tomatoes, which are in season right now, oh man, they're so good. And I just dice them or quarter them, depending upon the size. And the reason for that is because I want it to all fit on a fork. You don't want a big chunk of tomato in when your guests are dining on this delicious pasta salad. And the pasta salad dance continues. I'm missing a few people here, and I'm missing cucumber. Now, if you have Japanese cucumber, that's great. Persian cucumbers, yum. English cucumbers, definitely. The reason why I named those off is because you don't have to peel them, because the peel isn't bitter. What I did was I cut them in half, thinly sliced them on an angle or a bias, because the texture is so much more delightful that way. Who else? Who else do we have? We have green olives, drained. This gives it like this meatiness that I just love. It's a vegetarian salad. And those green olives just like so wonderful and buttery. So we've got like triple layers of butter, different textures. And here I have some dark red kidney beans. Now, as I was developing this recipe, I did try garbanzo beans, and they were a little bit dry. So I tried different beans. This one seemed to work the best. And plus, look at that color. It just pops, right? Not just the flavor, but the color. And last but not least, flat leaf, Italian parsley, the good stuff. Chopped, it's about a cup. And that color and flavor is so vibrant and herbaceous. Now there's one last thing to do. The pasta's cooled, this is ready, everybody in the pool. All right, this is my friends and family bowl. This is when you wanna make a lot of food for a lot of good people. First thing we talked about was properly cooked, properly seasoned pasta, which is now, maybe it's just barely warm, maybe room temperature, but it has all those amazing flavors in there. The garlic, shallot, fresh lemon juice, red wine vinegar, don't forget that. And we whisk in some extra virgin olive oil. All the different fresh salad ingredients we put in there, they go in now. Please be big enough. Oh. Could you make a half portion? Yes, you could. But when you discover how delicious it is and will continue getting when it's in your fridge, you want to make sure you make a whole portion. That is it. Now, before I fold it all together, yeah, there's one more secret ingredient, and that is Za'atar. It's a Middle Eastern spice, maybe you've heard of it. It has 3 simple ingredients. It has wild thyme, otherwise known as hyssop. And wild thyme, it doesn't taste like our thyme, meaning in the States, it tastes more like a love child between oregano and mint. Really bright. It also has sumac, and sumac is like a little lemony, but also a touch of tartness. And then also, the third ingredient is sesame seeds. And the magic number is 4 teaspoons for this huge amount. Gently fold, give it a turn. Remember those cheeses that are in there, the feta and the Parmesan. You don't want to smush them all together, you want them all to just get on in there. Make friends with each other. All right, how do you know it works? Well, let's try it. That's the main way of knowing. That is so good. The pasta still has a little bite to it, which is wonderful. Resiliency. Believe it or not, and that one bite is just exploding upon explosion in my mouth. The acidity is beautiful. The Za'atar comes through and just gives it all the big hug. We have done it. We have made an extraordinary pasta salad using everyday ingredients. So step right up, everybody. Pasta salad is served.